Alright, welcome back to episode 5 of the beginner series. My name is Jack Blade and welcome to my channel. So, some things have changed from the intro clips, and I want to go through with you very quickly what those changes have been. You can see that I'm flying, that's because I want to go through this quickly. Okay, so I have first moved a bunch of stuff from down here. Down here. They have been moved upstairs. And I have gone through and I have removed a lot of the awesome sinks. And there are new awesome sinks and some new factory stuff in here. And I want to say, like, the first one is I brought in the Caterium from over here. Alright? So it's now bringing in Caterium, and I am smelting it here into Caterium ingots. And that's a pure node, so it goes 45 per minute, 45 per minute, and this takes 30 per minute of the ore to make 40 ingots that I'm then turning into quick wire, which I am splitting into two lines. One goes over here and uses copper sheets and quick wire to make AI limiters. And they are very slow, they make 3 per minute, but it's like just having a few of those being made in the background makes it a lot easier to make smart splitters. And once I've hooked this up, I forgot to do that. Let's just quickly set that up. What am I missing? I'm missing quick wire. Okay, there we go. And having this hooked up makes it a lot easier for me to I can sink a lot more advanced materials, which means we get a lot more coupon points, or like awesome points. Alright, so what else have we done? You can see that a lot of stuff is moving up and being moved over, and I will show you exactly what that means later. But first, we're producing some other materials now as well. The first one being rotors, which we produce over here. Okay? And why is that not coming up at the same rate as the rate at which it should? Okay, that's because it's not supposed to. You can see that I have a little bit of like a load balancer here, where I'm bringing in some extra screws to help fill out this band so that it gets all the screws that it needs to make a full set of rotors here. It's not 100% efficient. I'm not making it to be 100% efficient. Have just made it so that it does make rotors, period, so that I have them being produced. And I have kind of set up the same thing over here with reinforced iron plates. I'm showing you, like, there is a underclock there, which then goes over here. There's no sink over here. There's a sink over there. There's no sink for the reinforced iron plates, because they are being brought in here to make modular frames, which is also underclocked. Or it should be underclocked. Why is it not underclocked? Did I underclock this one? Yeah, I underclocked this one. Yeah. So that is the modular frames being produced, which then all of the different parts that we are now making in this factory are now also being moved over, including the concrete. I've switched that up. I like literally changed the direction of the concrete production, like its output. It's being brought up here, and then here on top, it is being brought over here, and then I am collecting it all here. Alright, so these ones are what it's all about, because this factory is pretty much done now. I'm not gonna make more here. It's done. So what I have done is I have put these in, where all of the materials that I produce, all of these are concrete, by the way. The first line is just concrete, and then on this line we have iron rods. If I climb up here, we have wire. If I climb up one more, we have iron plates. Climb up one more, we have quick wire coming in. And then from this top, we have screws. Climb down, reinforced iron plate, You can see, so it's generally just keeping us supplied without us having to like rummage through the entire factory to get what we want, right? So that's something that I've made. I've been setting up all of this in preparation for what to do this episode, which will be, let's first open up this one so I don't forget that. We have another hard drive, so I'm just gonna start scanning that hard drive. And we'll see what alternative recipe we get. But until then, what is the big thing we will be doing? We need to unlock, that will come a little bit later because we're going need to go explore some stuff and bash some heads and stuff. What we need to do is set up some steel production. So, let's first look at what we can make with steel. Let's go into our hub, it's over here, and see what we can make with our steel production here. Basic steel production. We can make steel beams. We can get the foundry and steel ingot, right? That's the basic thing. It needs iron and it needs coal to make. That's the basic recipe for it. And then steel beam, and steel pipe just needs the steel ingot. And then you have versatile framework, which needs a little bit more advanced stuff to be made, but it's one of the parts that we are sending up. And then we have let's see, coal power. I want to show you guys how this works. Even if I won't be using this, I want to show you how it works. So we'll go through that. And then let's see, in tier 4, we have this advanced steel production. This is another part that is very important to me that we get going in this factory. It's this encased industrial beam. So at the end of this, we should be producing steel beams, steel pipes, and encased industrial beams. That's the important part. That's what we should be producing at the end of this. So yeah, that's what we're going for. We might also unlock this, maybe. We'll see. We'll start with this. I'll select the milestone. I'll put in everything we need. Let's put in rotors. This is a lot easier when you just produce this stuff constantly, so you have stacks upon stacks upon stacks of it. Alright, so now we have that. Let's go here. And now if we look in production, we have this unlocked, but it needs encased. So we want to upgrade our miners and our belts and like all that, go through and do that later. First, what we want to do is find a location for where we're going to get this done, and I will show you once I am over there. Okay, we are almost there. Okay, I will be putting up a picture on screen. Oh, yeah, yeah, there we go. Just had to kill those guys. There we go. And I'll show you on the map where we are. I will also bring up a picture. We are over here, and our goal is to build here in this, like, I don't know, caldera looking thing. Like I don't really know what kind of place this is. It's like a oasis, like a valley. It's generally the best place to build a starter like steel factory. Normally, without mods, you tend to make this your first like coal power plant, but that's not really what I am after now. I don't want to be using coal for power. And over here, if I scan for coal, boom, there we go. That is 4. Yeah. If I look on the map, you can see there's 4 nodes here. Those 4 nodes are what we will be using. And then let's scan for iron. Hello, big guy. Alright. There's a lot of iron up here. Alright. Let's see if I can actually... I can't see that because there's stuff on it. And we need to bring in some of that iron. Actually, most of it, because these are impure nodes. We actually even need to overclock to get this done. And on top of that, because the encased steel beams, or like steel, well, like the advanced steel products that we're also bringing in, right? They need concrete. So what we will also be needing over here is limestone. So let's check that out. Let's see how that pops up. There we go. There's a couple of nodes. That's a normal node. That's a pure node. That's a pure node. Which is going to be enough for us to make everything that we need. And it's going to be here. Let me just show you quickly where these nodes are and why they're going to be a little bit bothersome. We need to do some like prep work to be using them. There we go. There's one. And there's two. There's the second one over there. So here's coal and plasma spitters. I can hear you. There we go. Yeah. Thank you. And are there more plasma spitters? They tend to be roaming in packs. What's the other one? Yeah. Okay, yeah, so we have those two nodes over there. And then we have two nodes over here. But there are some complications with these nodes. There we go. Yeah, there's the other one. Gotcha. There we go. Yeah, you see, big rock. How do we get rid of the big rock? We can't place a miner on this. Right? The other node, let's see, where is... There's supposed to be two nodes. There. The other node, fine. But we can't get to this fourth node without first blowing this up. And to do that, we need to unlock the noblisks. So let's see what we need to do that. Or if we already have it. Let's check. Oh, it still needs to go through this. Well, before then, let's check the sulfur tree. We already have the noblisks unlocked. So what can we do to craft these? We need a equipment workshop. There we go. And we need to make a... Where is it? Nobelisk detonator, which requires an object scanner as well. So let's craft one of those. Here we go. Which makes it very simple for us to just go boom, literally and figuratively. And I will just switch you out for the berries. Very nice. And then we need nobelisks. And I'm literally just gonna run this and make as many of them as we possibly can. Because they are going to be quite useful for leveling and clearing terrain, specifically. I'm gonna leave that up there. And I'm gonna show you how this one works. So I just press R to reload. I run up to this thing, and I throw. So it's stuck there. And then I blow it up. And you can see that a bunch of trees and stuff went with it as well. Which is exactly what we want. We want to clear... Nice. We want to clear nature. So that is what we will be doing. And I will keep doing that. Let's see, what do we have here? We want the really... Okay, solid steel ingots is if we make them into ingots, iron ingots first, and then we get more steel. Do we want that? Or do we want iron wire? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, like, let's go for the steel one. I'm not gonna be using it right now, but, like, we're gonna unlock everything, but now we have it. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is pretty much this. I will be going around, like, I can collect, what's it called? Coal from these nodes, and I can collect sulfur by literally just scanning for it. So I can make the black powder, so I can make more of these. Boom. Over there, 450 meters away, on top of that ridge, there is a purity normal sulfur node. So that's what I will be going for, and I will just make enough nobelisks that I can clear this entire area of anything that resembles plant life. Oh, we found even more. Where are they? Oh, okay, they're far, far away. There's another one over there. That's also a normal one. Yeah. Alright. So yeah, I'll be back when we have fixed that. So, there is a question in my head, like, what is the upper limit of how many nobelisks you can place at one time? Well, it's over 1000, because that's what's around here. And now I'll press the button and see what happens. I might have gone a little bit overboard. There's a lot of bombs. Damn. Yeah. This is what it looks like being thorough. So, what you guys been up to is quite insane. Over 1000 nobles. It takes a while for that to stop blowing up. I tried to be a bit systematic when I was placing the bombs, but I guess I've missed some places. I'll go take that down with a chainsaw later to make sure that it's clean and everything, so I can like slab everything in concrete. Like, I don't know if you guys can pick that up, but I can hear like small like in the background. All the bombs blowing up. It's very nice though. Oh yeah. And then I went up here, right? Yeah, exactly. So I went up here. Realized that, like... Yeah. Exactly. It's like, I didn't have to be very discerning, I could just like... Because we're also like making some mining stations and stuff, like pulling stuff down from up there. I decided to spend a bunch of nobelisks blowing that place up too. Now it's done. 1000 nobelisks. Alright. So let's go down and see. Place should be pretty clean by now. Whee! Give me some of that. I was picking this stuff up just in case I need it for something. There you go. Is there some stuff left? Because if there is... Yeah, there are some of the stuff that we can pick up by hand, of course. Like these things, they don't blow up, like no matter how many nobelisks you put at them. Unless you're targeting them specifically. Like if I pick this up, that's fine. Unless I'm targeting it specifically, the chainsaw don't even get it. So if you want to have like 100% clear, you're going to have to go through with a chainsaw and like do the final cleaning by yourself. And then once that is done, we will slab the place up in concrete so we can so we have an area to work on. So I will be right back. Alright, so I have cleared it up properly and I have also started setting up the miners. So here's now the plan, right? We want to make sure that we have proper of space for like logistics and stuff. So we won't be building at this level. I want to pretty much slab this whole thing with concrete and have like a central thing here. But before then, I will quickly just show how the coal generator works, so you guys can use it if you want to. Okay, let's see here. That's a quick power. That's the wrong one. That's the biomass. Coal generator. There we go. Floor is too steep. Let's flip you around. Makes this very simple, right? And the easy part here is like, yeah, you take one of the coal lines and you run it into this. Okay. You can it's pretty simple, and I think it uses like 15 coal per minute, so you can just like take whatever you get from the miners, divide that by 15, and that's what, like, how many generators you need. And then it's 50 or 45 meters cubed in water that you need to get in. And the let's see, where are you? Production here, water extractor gets you 120. So like overclocking, underclocking, like whatever you want to do. But make sure that you have like 10% more coming out of this than you think you're gonna need, because you're going to have fluctuations up and down in numbers, and the way that you balance those out are by going a little bit above and beyond. Like if it says like, hey, you need a total of 300 meters cubed per minute to run XYZ machines, think about like how do I plug in like 330 instead, okay? Because if you have those fluctuations up and down, try to like account for that by so that when it bottoms out, it's still enough that you can run your machines consistently. So that, and then you have height. Okay, so if I were to take this and I were to run a pipe into that, it wouldn't work. Why? Because there's no pump here. Like this water extractor doesn't count as a pump. It has some headway. Let's see. It can take out a max of 600, but it also has no head. What it's called? Like it can't pump up. For that, you need one of these, and it can add 20 meters of head lift. That's the word, head lift. Okay, so what you need to do is kind of create like a water tower, because if we say that, let's say that I'm running the water up this. I'm gonna take this and I run it up here, right? If I have a pump here, you can see the direction of the water. That now goes up. If I then take this pipe and run that over, and then run it into there, right? Now, it automatically, even if I put a different one, if I take a different pump, and I put it like up at the same level, right? It's gonna keep the same head lift. That is like, how much higher is this level than that? That way, you can like make sure that you have like, if you have a water tower, like pump up 50 meters and then go down again and then into whatever you're like fueling with water, then your machines will work. All right. Very, very nice. I have now made the logistics floor. For the resources, I have a lower logistics floor. You can see under here. It's where I've brought in everything. And then on top, like this is up there is where I'm gonna be building the actual like factory. One of the reasons why I'm leaving the bottom free the way I have is because then I can run like stuff like trains and trucks and other like factory kind of logistics from down there quite easily. So yeah, as you can see, like I haven't brought over everything yet or brought up everything yet. Generally, like I'm considering mining up and crafting up all of like a bunch of steel and stuff so that I can upgrade the miners to level 2 and do the same thing with the belts and upgrade them to level 3 to kind of like help myself along a little bit, because each of those belts overclocked to the maximum only gives me 75 iron per belt. That's times 6, right? So that's 450 iron. And then I have another iron, pure iron node over there that's 120. So I have 570 iron. And meanwhile, I have 450 coal. But I feel like I'm not going to be able to make the factory that I want to make here. So I'm kind of considering upgrading belts and lifts and everything and get that to level 3. And you can see, like, I haven't upgraded yet, but like it goes up in terms of like what are you using for it. So the level 3 one will be using these steel beams, right? So I will need to craft up, handcraft a ton of steel beams by hand to be able to do that. And then for me to be able to make the miner Mark II, I need I got a couple of stacks from the Awesome Shop. So I have that. I can upgrade the miners, but that doesn't help if I don't have the belts for it, right? So I'm considering doing that, but we'll see. Like, I'm gonna have to sleep on it. I've been recording literally all day and been like doing all this all day. So I will get back to checking this out tomorrow and finish this episode up and everything. I need to publish it too. So we'll see then. Bye. Hello and welcome back again. It's a new day for me, and I have been sleeping on a few issues and done some recalculations because my math was wrong and stuff like that. So yeah, I've had to bring in more limestone earlier than I thought because I actually need 600 limestone to make the concrete required to make all the encased industrial beams that I want to make, because I want to make 40 industrial beams, encasing industrial beams per minute. I want to make 40 steel beams per minute, and I want to make 40 steel pipe per minute. That's like, once everything is said and done, that's what I want to come out of this factory to be accessed later by me. So I have gotten some new nodes. Let me open the map here. So let's first do the scan so you guys can see. If I do limestone scan, you can see this is a pure node. Like, these 3 nodes are what I want to be using. Okay? And for this to work, I have had to upgrade to level 2 Mark II miners and to Mark III belts because I will need to bring in belts of this capacity of 270 to make it work. I'll also have to overclock some of this stuff. So, like, don't think I've overclocked this yet, but let's look at it. So this is a pure node. It gives me 240 per minute because it's a pure limestone node with a Mark II miner on it. For me to get 270 out of this, now I don't need it with the limestone specifically, but if I just bring this in, I write 270 here, press enter, and it will just overclock to the point that I need, 12.5%. That's a full Mark III belt. Now I don't need to overclock this. I haven't brought in any power yet because power consumption is a whole other issue that we will be tackling in the near future. And yeah, so I have already been upgrading and pulling in all of the ones down there, but let me show you up here. I'm just gonna run over so that we can, I'm also trying to make it look like it's supported. Like, there's no physics, blocks don't fall, things don't crumble, they're not destructible. But in my opinion, it just looks a little bit nicer when it looks like it's anchored to the world in a believable way. Like, if you look over here, like, imagine if I just had this floating. Like, this doesn't look very realistic. I'm probably gonna like change this around to make it look better so it doesn't clip through. But like, yeah, you can see here, it looks like it's like built into, aside from this, like it's built into the foundation of the ground all the way down. Same thing if you look over there. If I just zoom in, you can see that it's like attached to the ground and down into the water. I'm gonna do something similar with that simply because I like it when it's properly done. So yeah, I put in this ladder because it makes it easier for me to get to the top instead of me having to run around all the way. So yeah, like these are all Mark II still. So I'm gonna show you quickly how I do this. So in the first one, this is number 3 over here. So if I want to upgrade the belt, I literally just aim a higher or lower grade, like an upgrade or downgrade, there, and it switches that section. So I'm gonna have to go and switch out every section of belt all the way, right? So if I had done this right, if I had thought about this from the beginning and done my math correctly, I would have not had to redo this. This is me rushing, and that causes extra work. So if I had just followed my own advice and not rushed, this wouldn't have become an issue. And remember, it's not just these. When you're making these things, you have to upgrade to the Mark III, not just one, but every single individual section needs to be individually upgraded all the way down. So yeah, I've created a lot of extra work for myself. So yeah, and the same thing goes for every single structure which that you might want to upgrade. Same thing goes for the miners. If I'm going to upgrade miners, I need to grab the next miner. I don't have to remove the old miner. I can literally just aim and click, and it will upgrade the existing miner. And I can also do, if I shift, I can go back to a Mark 1. But I need the Mark 2s, because that means if I overclock this, I get 150 per minute. So I have 6 iron nodes up here, impure iron nodes. That gives me 150 each. And for those who can do some quick maths, that is 900 iron ore per minute. And then I have another one down there. That is a pure node. That gives me, or is it a pure node? I need to actually check that so I don't lie to you guys. Let's not lie. Okay, that is a pure node, yes. That gives 240 naturally, that I will overclock to 270, which gives me a total of, let's see here, 1,170 iron ore. I have also checked and upgraded the coal miners and their belts and everything. They are now giving a total of 1,080. I need to fix this as well. 1,080 coal. So, which means that at the end of all of this, we will be making a ton of steel. We're making all the products. I just need to go through and I need to fix all of this to make sure that it is ready. And I will be back when we have done that, so we can get this steel factory functioning. Yeah, and okay, yeah, sorry. And this here is another limestone node, by the way. Also a pure node. So yeah, and you can see I'm bringing that over. I want to make a snazzy, nice, like cross over here with the belts. I'm really gonna like how this looks. So yeah, and I will be back once I have fixed all of this and pulled in all the resources and have them on the logistics floor ready to be used in the factory. Alright, so I have upgraded all the belts. I have done everything, like pulled in all the stuff everywhere. So these belts are now, these ones, can run up 270 resources, okay? And it's very important reasons why we're like going for the full 270 rather than calculating from the 240, which is the normal like doubling that we've been doing. And that is because steel is made with a division of 45. Each, if I open here and I go to steel, right, we're going to be using the standard recipe. which means that we pull in 45, 45, and 45, like, and all that kind of stuff. And if I go in here and if I open this again, and this is a fun trick, if you press N as in Nicholas, and or N as in nickel, and you take 270 divided by 45, you get an even 6. Which means that it is an even 6 machines per belt. Right? And we have, and this is even more like fun coincidences here, we will be making 1080 steel per minute. Right? And if we take that divided by 270, that's an even 4 belts. Right? So we know that we can do this with an even 4 belts. 4 belts times 6 machines per belt. That is, if we remove this again, 4 multiplied by 6, 24. Which means we know we need an even number of 24 machines. This is why we're going with the full like 270 rather than just the multiplication of like double and 240 and stuff like that. And like we're doing the weird thing with the minors, right? And that is specifically to make it easier for you guys so that you don't have to do a lot of like complex math and like load balancers and stuff like that. You can just use a very easy thing, like a very easy like calculation to get it running. All right. So how will we be dealing with this? Because if we look downstairs, yes, we have the very nice, very even 4 belts coming in over here with our coal. So that is easy. Like that one we can easily set up. That's no problem. That's 270, 270, 270, 270. However, with the iron, we don't have that same luxury. With the iron, if we look at that, we have 6 belts coming in here, right? 6 belts, and here's the thing, that's not 270. These are impure nodes that I have maxed out the overclocking on, which means that what you have here is 150, 150, 150, 150, 150, and 150. Right? So that doesn't work. That's messed up. So what we'll be doing is an easy belt balancer. Like it's a load balancer that means that we will get an even 4 belts of 270 each, and they will be fixing themselves. So I will be setting this up down here on the logistics floor, and then we will be looking at exactly how it works. Okay? Be right back when that is done. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the 240 that we're getting from way over there. Okay? If we look down here, you can see that there's a belt coming in from way over there with 240. I am thinking of setting that to 270 to make sure that I have one of the belts done and just have the other iron as like an extra like thing. But either way, I want to show you how to build this belt balancer, so I will be doing that. I will be right back when that is done. So I have now, I've been like racking my brain back and forth because I wanted to make this as simple as possible. So I think I've rebuilt this 7 times so that I could show you exactly what I've done. I'm in flight mode because I want to really go through this properly with you guys. Okay, so each of these belts bring in 150 ore per minute. That's 900. Or 3.33 repeated full 270 belts. We need 4 to match the coal coming in, right? So here is another line of 240 that I'm bringing, like, I'm gonna explain exactly what happens. It brings in to fill up the final belt, okay? So what happens here? Yeah, first, one of the 150s goes into a merger where one of the other lines, interrupted by a smart splitter, also goes into the same merger, creating one 270 belt, and then another 34 remaining, right? So that I've set to overflow into this merger, okay? And you can see it brings another 150. 30 plus 150 is 180. That's not a 270 belt, right? So I've brought in another one of the 150 belts that also is set to any, so it starts with turning left and fills up this belt to 270, and then whatever's left, 60, goes to the right and merges with this belt. Where another 150 comes in, so that's 60 plus 150 becomes 210, right? We're still missing 60 to make this a 270 belt. So, on this end, we have another coming in, also any overflow. So, here, on to the left, goes the remaining 60 to make a 270. So, what then happens is the remainder of that overflows, 90, goes into this and comes out here. So we have 270, 270, 270, 90. That's not enough. So this belt brings in the remaining, what would that be? That'll be 180 that we need to make that last 270 belt, which means that we are now matching up with our coal. So coal has 4 belts of 270, iron has 4 belts of 270. Perfect. It means we can make steel. So how big is this factory actually going to be? It is going to be pretty big. Let me count out the machines that we will be using to make this. So we will be using 24 foundries, and we will be using 14 to make the steel one, and then we'll make 14 constructors to make concrete. We will be using 14 constructors to make steel beams, and we will be using 2 constructors to make steel pipes. Then we will make 7 assemblers to make the industrial beams, encased industrial beams. And those machines by themselves take up 571 megawatts, or 521 megawatts. And then the miners themselves probably takes up something along the lines of like 300 more. So that's going to be pretty massive. That's a dedicated factory that only makes 3 products. Like, remember, the other one makes 11. The first starter factory makes 11 products. This one makes... Oh, sorry, I don't remember. It makes 15? It makes a bunch of different products. This one will only make 3. But it will take the same amount of power, and it will take the same amount of... like, it takes even more space than that first factory. I've also made it bigger because I know I will want to expand this in the future, so this is just me future-proofing as well. You can see me also, like, opening up a big space here to work with. Like, I have the pillars there, but I can easily remove those, and I like that, rather than, like, having to build up a bunch of stuff just because I didn't have space before. So, yeah. But now we have the setup, we have the resources balanced with this load balancer, belt balancer, like whatever you want to call this. This is a pretty simple. I'm gonna slowly hover over here so you can see. And this has to go. Now this is doable only because there is specifically 6 belts. Like, I had to count, like, I have a paper in front of me where I have drawn lines and numbers and made the calculations to make this work. Okay? So load balancers take a lot more work, but it means that I now don't have to deal with a bunch of mergers and stuff like that in the lines later. I have 4 full belts of each, which means I can take 24, let's see, 24, and divide that by 4 which means I get 6. So I make 6 lines of foundries that ultimately becomes 24 full foundries. Okay, so that's what I will be doing, and I will be doing that up here. I did some stuff with blueprinters and stuff like that as well, to try and figure out some like stuff. I wanted to see if I could fit it into a blueprint, because then I could just share it with you guys. But it is slightly bigger, slightly wider than 4. You can see that is slightly wider than 4 tiles, so that didn't work. But yeah, like what I will be doing is set up here those 24 foundries. And I will be setting up the concrete, but it will be set up over here, right? Because that's also a lot of machines, the steel beams and stuff. Like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure that I bring you guys in when I am ready. It looks a bit inconspicuous, but that is actually the 24 steel foundries that we needed. So I need to finish off this episode, and we will continue this and do some other stuff in episode 6. Yeah, it looks inconspicuous from this end, right? Also, I have put in a couple of mods that was suggested in the comments of the last episode. And one of them is daisy chain everything. That lets me daisy chain machine to machine. Normally they only have one connection point, so I have to place power poles, but now I can just daisy chain them. And the other one is infinite zoop and infinite nudge, which lets me soup infinitely, and instead of just being able to soup a line, I can soup planes. Right, so I can place like, I can change these settings, but for now it's 10 times 10. So it's 100 foundations with a click. And then over infinite nudge just means that when I press H and I lock this in position so I can look around and see that it's placed perfectly, if I press the arrow keys, I can move this. And with infinite nudge, I can just keep going. But in vanilla, there's just a limit to that. So there's also, in vanilla, you can't go up or down, but if I hold shift and press up or down, I can actually move them up and down. That's not also not a vanilla feature, which is weird to me. This should be. So yeah, that's 2 mods that I put in that's been very helpful when making all of this to make sure that everything's aligned properly and like really, really nice. So let's see, what do we have downstairs? Like if it looks nice and clean up here, you can be down. Well, sure, it looks messy downstairs. There we go. Yeah. Here's all our logistics. Here's the balancer, right? And there's the 4 belts of 470 there. And they go in here to this. Okay, and I had to be a bit inventive over here because these holes kind of like went over that. So to make sure that they're aligned and like I can make an easy manifold, I move them over a little bit. And then I have split them like this to make sure that it's easy. And then the output goes in the ceiling. So what we make comes on this line in the ceiling, and they can move ahead down the line to where we need them. So yeah, that's basically how we have made everything. So for now, this is what we have done. We've made this insane factory. We've set up a lot of like comfortable logistics. We've unlocked some minor Mark II. We've unlocked some more advanced steel stuff. We've unlocked Tier 3 logistics, which is Mark III belts that can, and elevators that can move 270 instead of 120. That is a big, big upgrade. And we've run all of this material. We're moving that in. And yeah, I've been trying to incorporate like some stylistic stuff in the original design, like the framework, so that I have an easier time later when I make the factory into its like ultimate pretty form. So yeah, that's episode 5 for you. And yeah, this has been like I have made this unnecessarily big. Like remember that you can take half of all of this and you can still make the same thing. Like this is literally because have doubled everything up. I wanted to have 40 steel pipes, steel beams, and industrial encased industrial beams. You could make that half or like a quarter of that and make this very easy, like a small footprint thing that you can finish in an afternoon. I chose to do this because I wanted to really be able to, like, supersizing things tends to make it easier for people to look at and learn from. At least that's my personal experience. So that's what I have been trying to do here, like just to really show how big this place, or like how big you can make things. Like you're not restricted by size, you're not restricted by space. You have so much space to build in, and yeah, I hope that it's something that people can take away from this. Or that you find something you can take from if it's a stylistic choice or logistics, or if it's like how you like style your factories or how you run your in like mining income, like in industrial, like bringing in resources lines. That was a technical term. Uh, all of that. That's. I really hope that you learned something from it. And if you want to talk more about it and show what you've been doing, I have a Discord. Links in the description. You can just come join that. And please, if you like the video, subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, do all the good stuff. And I will see you again in episode 6. See ya!